It is such a pleasure to talk to you about this film. It's obviously a hell of a ride, but is it the same for you as well, you know? Shoot, shoot, shoot all the time.
Shoot, shoot, shoot all the time. You got it right. Cuba, New York, Iceland. Shoot, shoot, shoot all the time. But it was great. I'm so proud of this movie.
Yeah, and it's so inspiring to see all this choreography of the cars. I mean, I don't want to give so much away because the fans are going to have so many surprises, but
Sure.
who infuses that inspiration? I mean, is it the cast? Is it the writers? Who thinks of all those crazy stuff?
It's everyone. My writer, Chris Morgan, is great at just coming up with big ideas. Vin Diesel, who's a producer as well, comes up with great ideas. So it's just a big collaborative effort. And, you know, I just kind of show up and do my thing. You know, I had a great time with the cast. I've worked with more than half the cast before in the past, and I would say collaborative.
And it's a right mixture of what the action scenes are and what the messages of the films always have been. It makes that family of Fast and Furious so relatable. Everybody speaks about the family of the films.
Well, that is the theme. Family is the theme, but the difference in this movie is the family falls apart.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Dismantles.
the reason. That's right. The family is dismantled. That's the reason why you watch this movie, is because you want to know why, and you want to know if they come back together. And then between time, you get to just experience amazing action and a little bit of drama and a little bit of humor. So I think it has everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has two of the biggest action stars and stars in the world. I mean, what makes them so enduring? You know, the Vin Diesels and the Rock of this world, you know, they've become the big, big Hollywood stars of now.
You know what? I think there's a global appeal to, you know, Vin Diesel. And although these guys are big and they have muscles and stuff like that, somehow they're very relatable. You know what I mean? You feel like you can you want to hang out with them.
Oh, yeah.
And if this guy was your big brother or a good friend of yours, you can hang out with him. You know, you may not be able to do as many push-ups, but you know, they're just cool dudes, you know, and you want to see them on the big screen. They're bona fide stars, superstars, and they're also really cool to hang around.
Yeah, they stayed down to earth. They stayed very relatable, and that's,
Very.
I think, something the audience, like, you know, notices. True, I wouldn't want to work out with them. I'd want to hang
Me
out.
either. Just look at this.
And you have not one but two Oscar winners in the film. How was
right.
that?
It was phenomenal. If you could imagine casting someone who is, you know, not only the perfect villain, but just brings a certain complexity to a role, that's what a director wants. You want someone who can look at the page and bring life and breathe life into the words, and that's what Charlize does. And then, of course, the queen.
Yeah,
You know,
the
you work
queen
with
herself.
the queen. You know, what more can I say? Helen Mirren was phenomenal. And I know it sounds very cliche for me to say. It was phenomenal to work with the Oscar winners. But I got to tell you, if you watch this movie, they not only fit in this world, but they really, I think, broaden the scope of a global franchise. If it's even possible, they do it.
Well, talk about global. We made more money with Fast and Furious 7 in the Arab world than we did with all the other films combined the rest of the year. I mean, this is the kind of movies that people like to watch. Why do you think it's so global, as you said, and also relatable to women and men at the same time?
Like I said, I think it's, you know, the theme. I also feel like when you watch this movie, no matter where you are in the world, you could find someone on the screen that you could either relate to or you feel like you can place yourself in their shoes. And a lot of movies, you can't say that, you know, and I think that's a good thing. The other thing is, in a time where we have the world going in a whole bunch of different directions, it's kind of cool to really see that we can come together from different walks of life and be a family. I think it's just a phenomenal message. I think it's a phenomenal theme, and I think that's the reason why it's worked for a very long time.
Absolutely. Talking about the locations now, how difficult are they to find, and which one was the most challenging or pleasant to be in?
Pleasant and challenging, Cuba. If you understand, you know, anything about the history of the U.S. and Cuba, you know, it was so hard to just get permission to go. And so you have your producers doing everyday work. They negotiate, but then on this movie, the governments had to negotiate. So if I thought of a shot, not only would we have to figure it out, but the governments would have to negotiate to figure out if it was possible. And I'm glad that they did, because at the end of the day, I'm able to take you to Cuba in ways that no one's ever seen it before. And that's fun, and that's great.
Yeah, it looks awesome, absolutely.
Thank you very much. I was surrounded by phenomenal people, a phenomenal crew. Cuba was definitely a challenge, but worth it. Iceland was a challenge. It was the first time you would see a Lamborghini on ice. It was the first time there was a Lamborghini in Iceland, period. And then New York City, believe it or not, was really a challenge because cars racing through Manhattan at 100 miles an hour with that traffic, impossible. So we made it possible. So that's why you watch the movie.